start out by thanking Chairman Denham and Ranking Member Capuano for holding the hearing today, and I look forward to moving ahead with the reauthorization of pipeline safety legislation. Illinois is a key pipeline hub for crude, natural gas, and refined products, and certainly my district is home to many, many miles of pipeline, though my constituents really don't know that. Most people don't know that, understand that. Now, this means that they don't know how important these are, but unfortunately, a 2011 spill in Romeoville highlighted that there are pipelines there, and also highlighted that we need to have a greater focus, I believe, on safety and prevention. So I wanted to look at a couple of ways to do this. First, I want to look at the use of drones. Rulemaking on leak detection standards is still in progress, I understand. But new technologies are emerging that could make proactive inspections more efficient and less costly for operators. I also serve on the Science, Space, and Technology Committee, where we have examined the use of unmanned aerial systems. I'm co-chair of the Unmanned Systems Caucus here, so I'm very interested in the use of these systems. At this subcommittee's April 2015 hearing, PHMSA testified that some companies are already using these systems, but I'm aware that obtaining the Section 333 exemption from the FAA can be a lengthy process. So I want to ask a question. Let me just open this up to everyone here, especially to Mr. Santa and Mr. Black. You think there's an opportunity for better collaboration between your industry, PHMSA, and the FAA to expedite the use of UAS for pipeline inspection? And also want to ask the administrator that question, if there more you think can be done on this. Mr. Santa?
Yes, Mr. Lipinski. As you note, a lot of the inspection of pipeline rights of way is done by aerial inspection, and so certainly the ability to use unmanned vehicles to do that offers an opportunity, and we in fact have talked to some vendors who have got some interesting technologies in terms of being able to really optimize that. In addition, remote sensing technologies can be valuable in terms of the types of studies that need to be done in connection with permitting for new pipelines. And as a matter of fact, there's legislation pending before the Energy and Commerce Committee in terms of authorizing that in specifying to federal agencies that they should accept that in terms of satisfying the requirements for surveys and inspections. So I think there is a lot of potential here to improve the effectiveness by the use of these vehicles, and we certainly would be interested in pursuing that.
You're absolutely right, Congressman. There are safety benefits that come from aerial patrols. Right now, PHMSA regulations require operators to conduct aerial patrols, but now, of course, they are manned. We'd be very interested in the ability to use unmanned aerial surveillance. Like you, I'm aware that one of the issues in the FAA rulemaking is the requirement right now that an operator stay within a line of sight. For long linear infrastructure like pipelines, that's not practical. So we would need some changes to the FAA regulations on UAS to be able to use those vehicles to patrol a pipeline. And we could accomplish great things by understanding if somebody is along that right-of-way getting ready to dig and didn't call the one-call program, we'd have that evidence.
Mr. Ming, is there anything you think can be done better to get this technology out there more quickly?
We've been working not only with our partners at FAA, but across the board to look at any and all technologies that are available for leak detection and other inspection capabilities. So I wouldn't take anything off the table, and I think there's opportunity moving forward.
All right, if the chair will let me go ask the second question, I'll try to make this as short as possible. I know that a big issue with is excavation causing ruptures to pipelines. The last reauthorization directed PHMSA to collaborate with pipeline operators to collect geospatial data to improve the accuracy of national pipeline mapping systems. So my two questions: do we have good mapping now? And let me just also throw this in there. Is there a possibility, everyone has a smartphone, does this give us more of an opportunity to use this mobile technology rather than, or in addition to the call before you dig program? Do you think that's a possibility to also have that opportunity to know where pipelines are before digging? Mr. Black?
You said or in addition to, and I think it's very important, Congressman, that any use of mapping to identify pipelines be in addition to the one-call notification program. We don't want anybody to think that there's a reason not to call. If you call, there's a 99% chance that nobody's going to strike a pipeline. You can't count on the mapping being as good as those utility locators who spray paint and put out those flags and really help you identify where to dig.
I would have to say that it's critical, one, to make sure that the call is made for 811, but two, as we move forward on the National Pipeline Mapping System, we have indeed opportunity to improve with more specificity some of the maps that PHMSA presently, the data that PHMSA presently collects and informs the NPS system. So we are continuing to work on that and provide more data to that system. But first and foremost, I think the first line of defense is 811, but we also need to make sure that people understand what's there and then appropriately share it given security concerns only when necessary.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank the gentleman.